Rev up your engines. All right, today we got a used Ford pickup truck, and the question is to buy or not to buy. That is the question. It's a 2021. They're asking $48,000 for it. And I know my grandfather would be rolling in his grave in Niagara Falls saying, who would pay $48,000 for a used pickup truck? But that's what they cost these days. When he was young, they cost $500 new, so he's in another dimension, literally now. But that's the price that they're going for these days. This is a loaded truck. Cosmetically, it's in excellent shape. Look, the leather's perfect. The nice two-tone. The interior is immaculate. The bed is clean as a whistle. There's no dings on anything. So, as far as I can figure out, this was no work truck. Look at the sparkly white ivory paint. I mean, it's in immaculate shape. And it does have 60-something thousand miles on it, but it's so new, a couple of years, right? It's got to be highway mileage. Highway mileage is equivalent to like 10-15% city stop and go driving. So, since this is such a new vehicle, before we spend a ton of time that I'm normally going to do checking out a car that you should do before you buy it, see if it's dented, see if it's leaking fluids. We're going to take it for a road test too, of course. But I'm hooking up my fancy computer for one main reason. Maybe it was wrecked or flooded. The computer's going to show some serious problems, and then you just walk from it. If the computer says it's okay, then you do the rest of the test. But on a late model vehicle, numero uno is the big computer test, because sometimes people get rid of late model cars because they were flooded or wrecked. And you don't want to buy one of those. It's the first thing you're going to look for. We'll hook up my big Autel scan tool, and you can see the topology. There's a bunch of codes. There's 12 of them. We're going to look at them in depth. Pray it's some minor electric thing like a bad battery. We'll look at the ABS system. And while it's doing its thing, you can see a nice, big, easy to read readout. Nice big screen. You got 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel automatic, 4-wheel low. Lots of stuff. 120 outlet, 12 volt outlet, giant armrest, big back seats. The leather interiors is in phenomenal shape. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. This is a loaded vehicle. So you'd be saving 20-something grand buying this used instead of buying it new. Plus, of course, his insurance rates are going to be lower, too. I always think about that. Okay, what do we see? Battery voltage, okay? Now, we're going to erase these codes for one main reason. You buy a used vehicle. If it's been sitting, the battery voltage can get low. It will trip many codes. Because the battery's low, we're going to check the battery before we road test it. And if you wonder what all that noise is, when you do a scan on a Ford, it's got to go through a bunch of systems, and it's automatically testing it all before it throws the codes up. So that was a battery code. Let's check another code. The PCM, the main computer. Active grill shutter, supply voltage circuit low. Active grill shutter B, supply voltage circuit low. Same as the other code, low voltage. So I'm going to erase that. Erase codes. Yes, yes. All these codes can be on just because the battery was too low. Computers need a certain amount of voltage. When the voltage gets below that parameter, it doesn't have enough voltage to work right, and you'll get all kinds of codes. This one, thank goodness, is simple to read. It's low voltage. Sometimes they'll trip other codes, like cam sensor bad. Doesn't mean the cam sensor's bad. If it has the wrong voltage, the computer will be confused and trip a code. So far, these are all low voltage codes. Just be the battery. We'll go down here. Power steering control module. I'll bet you it's going to be a low voltage code too. Let's see what it says. Battery voltage, so we'll erase that too. And we'll try the TCM, telematic control unit, and it's battery voltage, so we'll erase that. We're going to erase all those codes because every single one of them is a battery related code. The main computer, the powertrain control module, and we're going to analyze all that data. So we'll start her up. All right, we got data up the wazoo to look at. Here, now we're getting some real good information. Pressure, the AC, refrigerant. We're still in the ACE. Those are all ACE. It's absolutely insane. The data, acceleration of cylinder and firing sequence. I mean, the data will make your head spin. Hey, active grill, right? For the stupid electric grill in the front to get better gas mileage. Now we're in the B's. Boost pressure. You can see it's all black. Red is bad. Black is good. C's, I mean, it's nuts. The data that comes out of one of these things, but you can see it's all black. Still in the C's. Just to show you, watch. La 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 la. This is the live data. La 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 la. We're still in the C's. La 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 la. We're still in the C's. I mean, it's insane. Look at this. Look at the data. Look at it. It's still going. We're in the E's now. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Now we're in the F's. Fuel temperature. I mean, these things are absolutely insane. And all this data is good. There's no codes or anything other than the stupid battery codes. I mean, it's insane. We're only in the eyes. You can see there's the but look, we'll just keep going. Look at the data. It would make your head spin, right? This is a twin turbocharged EcoBoost system, GDI fuel injection, 2 turbochargers. Everything is computer run, and man, they are complex. You want to make sure a vehicle hasn't been wrecked, flooded, stolen if you buy it because of all this complexity. In this case, there's no faults. It's running perfectly fine. Right, we tested it out, great. 909 cold cranking amps. It's rated at 760. It's a brand new battery. You'd think at the Ford dealer they would have reset it, but they didn't. Okay, now back her up, and it does have that beautiful regular camera, which is wide angle enough. But for those of you who need a helicopter view, check it out. You see everything. It's real. That isn't a cartoon, even though it kind of looks like a cartoon. It is a real version of what we're backing up into. So I won't hit my neighbor's mailbox. See, there's the mailbox. See, we're not going to hit it, assuming the camera's aligned right. These are big, tall trucks, ride smooth. Ford has radically changed the suspension in these systems the last few years, and they ride more like a car than a truck. I mean, this thing really rides quite well. Corner's good, nothing like an old truck. It's got all the bells and whistles on your screen if you want to mess with that stuff. Sure, the brakes will work fine. I don't hear any kind of noise like it was in a wreck, flooded or anything. Yeah, we'll see what this twin turbo V6 does. We'll be listening to shift points. See if we can hear or feel any kind of vibrations, bearing noise. That guy looks like he's going pretty slow, so we'll sit here for a second. Nobody's going to rear end us. All right, here we go. You can hear it started to squeal tires, even though it has traction control. Hey, this engine's got a lot of power. There's no arguing that. It is a V6, but they've got them well down pat. The early ones, they had some problems with the twin turbos, but these later ones, no. And when you need to pass somebody, watch the speedometer. See how fast it moves? Not quite as fast as that electric Volvo, but I mean, it moves pretty fast. It's got all the gauges you want, and it's a very smooth ride. Plus, of course, this is four-wheel drive system, so you're not going to get stuck anywhere. Gotta say, it's in excellent shape. It runs as good as it looks. Personally, I'm quite convinced that the 69,325 miles was put on as all highway mileage, because nothing has any real wear. And as you can see by the numbers, this is a 10-speed. If you want, you can put it in manual mode, and you can shift it yourself. But, hey, why bother? It's too much work. I do have to say, these 10 speeds, they seem to have gotten most of the glitches. He's not complaining, nor am I, about how it shifts. For the first models, they were very dumpy shifting. They would bog down, going up or down hills, trying to get better gas mileage. Look, this thing doesn't do it. It immediately goes, you let go, it goes down, you don't get a bunch of slippage or loss of power and jerking. They've obviously figured these 10 speeds out. So there we have it. The only thing wrong was not really wrong. The battery obviously went flat in the lot before they sold it. They put a brand new one in, and all those codes came up because they didn't reset the codes, which they should have done. Beautiful truck. There's nothing wrong with it. Other than the price, I mean, I would never pay that. I'm a cheapskate, right? $40-something thousand. I've paid $7,500 for every personal car I've ever bought in my life, you know? So I would not spend 7 times that on one vehicle. There's no way. I'd wait until he's tired of it 20 years from now or something, right? But, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting a loaded truck used. Don't listen to their, oh, here's our list price. Look at what it costs for what you want. And then you're probably going to think, used, that sounds like a pretty good idea to me. As long as you have a guy like me, check it out. You saw how complex that thing is, and it make your head spin. Get it checked out, and they say, okay, you can save a lot of money getting the truck you want, and especially in his case, because it was highway mileage, so it's not worn much, but he's going to use it more for vacations and stuff. So he's not going to be putting a lot of mileage on it, and it'll be the perfect vehicle for him. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Leaf Fanatic says, hey Scotty, how come every car I owned ends up with front wheel bearing issues? I don't hit curbs, I don't drive off roads. What gives? I have a 2012 Nissan Leaf and a Dodge Neon and a Chevy Cobalt. Well, you're buying cheaper cars to begin with, and they have cheaper wheel bearings in them. You see, you don't hit curbs and stuff like that. Okay, here's the thing. Where are you? What are those roads like? Right? Let's say you live in Rhode Island, which is notorious for having the worst roads in the United States. You live there, you're going to be hitting potholes all the time, holes in the road, and that destroys the wheel bearings over time, right? So if you live in an area where the roads stink, there isn't anything you can do except move to a place where there's better roads. Like now I'm sitting here in Tennessee. The roads here are phenomenal. They're paved, there's no toll roads, no toll bridges, smooth. The wheel bearings generally last forever in a well-built car. That's just the way that it goes. Now make sure you keep your tires full of air, because if your tires don't have enough air, then there's too much strain, they'll bounce around too much, and that can also lead to the wheel bearings wearing out prematurely. But if you do normal maintenance, it's just you live in an area that's got crappy roads, and that's what's going to happen. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.